The Chapter 4 Project Builder is somewhat free for you to explore some of the skills you learned throughout Chapter 4, but it's also has some defining things that you want to know how to do in order to accomplish coloring the dartboard and creating a dartboard. You want to have that freedom. So here's how you might begin doing it based on some of the skills that you learned this chapter. So you go to the line segment tool, and I'm going to create a rather large dartboard. I'm going to use the shift key as I create my long line segment. And next, I'm going to make sure that this stroke has a 1-point black stroke to it. And then I'm going to go ahead and double click the rotate tool. I'm going to rotate probably about, I'm going to say 15 degrees, and I'm just doing something rather quickly. I'm not going to get into the numbers and how many sections there should be or shouldn't be in a dartboard. I'm going to let you figure that out, and you can mimic whatever ones that you find that you like. However, dartboards are somewhat standard, so I'll leave that up to your creativity and confinement as well. But go ahead, and after you rotate by an angle of 15 degrees, go ahead and do a copy. We know our point of origin is here. If you see that it's rotating from a different origin, go ahead and click the selection tool and click the middle point and then try it again. Okay, so I already did a copy and a rotate at the same time. So you can do a Control D to then duplicate what you just did. It's almost like step and repeat. So Command D, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So I did that about 10 times, and that looks relatively decent. Notice I didn't use any layers. I'm all using stacking order and similar on the same layer, on the same artboard, just so you know. Okay, so I have all my line segment tools. Next, I'm going to go to my ellipse tool. Now I want to make sure that I have this overlapping a path. If you start your circle up here and you have a gap between this path and this, when the circle begins, you might have a difficult time creating a live paint group and then painting in different shapes. So you want to kind of close the area to make sure that they work together well. So I'm going to start my ellipse shape, click, start it. Of course, I can move that over by hitting the space bar. Let up on the space bar to move my ellipse, to adjust it like so. That looks good. Okay, so now I'm going to make a copy of this. Option click and drag. Then I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to double click the scale and do about 80% scale of that. And then you can adjust this however you like. Of course, you can get plenty more precise. Pull out your guides, get quite precise, but also you've been very precise within the chapter, so I also think it's pretty good to have a little bit of freedom when you're creating this dartboard. Okay, so I'm going to stop here. Maybe I'll create one more little ellipse for the middle point, and I'll fill that in. No stroke, go to my fill it in with black, and then I'll inch that up, try to make it somewhat, you can make sure it intersects. You can put your smart guides on, make sure it intercepts properly. Okay, so from here on out, I'm going to show you how to begin to fill in these different shapes, create the shapes first. So you have to make a live paint area. Right now, all you have is a bunch of line segments, overlapping circles. The next thing you do is you highlight everything, Control A, and then you go to Object, Live Paint, Make. If you deselect, And if you go over to your Live Paint tool, which is also under the Shape Builder, so make sure you can find that on your toolbar. And if you then go ahead and hover, you have created areas in which you can paint red. Let's say every other one's red. So that's how you might begin your dartboard. So again, I didn't work with layers, and I made sure my line segments crossed the circles, and I did a live paint. I made a live paint area, and then I went to my live paint bucket and I filled it in with different colors. And that's how you would complete the project builder for chapter 4.